Showing on this episode of Law Weekly, a review of some of the major legal stories that shaped the year 2023. We also bring you more reactions from the legal community, trailing the death of former president of the Nigerian Bar Association and former Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. Katsina State is in the news as the state governor inaugurates a special court to enhance the settlement of commercial disputes. Plus our recap of the top trending legal stories in the news. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Shola Shieli. 2023 can best be described as an eventful but somewhat controversial year for the Nigerian judiciary. It's the year that trended the hashtag all eyes on the judiciary, and indeed all eyes were on that arm of government as it decided all manner of political cases. In this next report, we look at some of the significant events that shaped the administration of justice in Nigeria in the year 2023.
The hangover of political cases from the 2022 political party primaries and the post-2023 general election litigations dominated court proceedings throughout the year 2023. The fallouts of these cases, some of which are still pending at the Supreme Court, and the intense pressure on judicial officers, evidenced by the hashtag all eyes on the judiciary, placed judges and justices of superior courts directly in the eye of the storm. Over 600 pre-election matters were filed against the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in respect of political party primaries ahead of the 2023 general elections. These cases forced the Federal High Court and the Court of Appeal to establish a special task force to especially dispose of these bitterly fought cases. This development predictably affected other cases, both criminal and civil, handled by these judicial officers, as many were unduly delayed with the attendant economic and social implications. As if that was not enough, 257 judges were pulled out of the various high courts in the country to hear about 1,209 petitions arising from the 2023 general elections. As part of efforts to eradicate political interference and build public trust in the system, the President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Monica Dongban-Mensah, in October, transferred all election petition cases pending before the Appellate Court in the 36 states to Abuja and Lagos. This meant that the judges had to leave their jurisdictions to relocate to the two cities. Law Weekly gathered that some appellants who had cases before the courts in the different states had expressed worry about getting justice if cases remained in states under the influence of governors, and this necessitated the transfer of the cases to restrict contact between governors and justices handling the appeals. The Abuja division of the court handled all the appeals from the 19 northern states, while the appeals filed in the 17 southern states were heard in Lagos. Also of note was that 5 political parties approached the Presidential Election Petition Court in Abuja, seeking the nullification of President Bola Tinubu's victory at the polls. Although 2 of the parties, Action People's Party (APP) and Action Alliance (AA), withdrew their petitions before the hearing began, those of the candidates of Allied People's Movement (APM), People's Democratic Party (PDP), and the Labour Party that went to trial were dismissed by both the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal and the Supreme Court for lacking in merit. While a 5-man panel of the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal, led by Justice Haruna Samani, delivered its judgment on September 6, the 7-man panel of the Apex Court gave its judgment on October 26, both resolving all the issues raised in favor of the president.
Today, as I speak to you, because my background is essentially business law, investments are suffering. And that's simply because when there is a dispute and you need to adjudicate, most of your judges are election tribunals. And like I told you, it's almost like a full election to election cycle. So business disputes are at bay. Elections don't bring money. What brings money are investments. So that's why I said it's almost as if we've lost our direction with regard to the democracy. Democracy is almost like an end in itself. Anytime you turn on the television, you open your social media, is election. I like robust conversations, don't get me wrong. But there's a time and season for everything. You finish, you put the election season behind you, you begin to see how you can attract investments. Today, things are so bad. When the president travels out and is attracting investments, you read, it just depends on what platform you're reading. is being denigrated. There isn't an effort to say, oh, well done, and all that. So is election an end in itself? Shouldn't we get to that point where we begin to fix the economy? We are all actors in this country. We'll come and go, we'll play our roles and go. The country would outlive us. But to behave as if it is not my way, the system should come down, I condemn it completely.
Another significant matter that shook the judiciary in 2023 was the issue of the appointment of justices to the Supreme Court. The number of justices on the Apex Court's bench reduced to 10, 11 justices short of its full complement of 21. On the 27th of October, a retiring justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Mohammed Datijo, raised the alarm in his valedictory speech during a court session organized to mark his retirement. And after that, the process appeared to have been sped up, as the National Judicial Council (NJC) on December 6th finally recommended 11 justices of the Court of Appeal for elevation to the Supreme Court. On December 20th, the Senate President read to the National Assembly the letter written by President Bola Tinubu seeking the confirmation of the justices, and on December 21st, the Senate eventually confirmed the nominees.
My appeal on behalf of all of us to the appointing authorities is we need to avoid this kind of situation. These positions did not all become vacant in one day. As these vacancies occur, it's important that those who are next in line be screened and appointed immediately.
Apart from political cases, other significant judgments came out of the courts in 2023. One landmark victory for Nigeria was that of Justice Robin Knowles of the Commercial Court of England and Wales, which stopped the enforcement of an $11.5 billion Process and Industrial Development P&ID Limited Arbitration Award against the country. In the judgment delivered on October 23, 2023, the UK court upheld Nigeria's prayers on the ground that the ill-fated gas processing contract was obtained by fraud. Another significant judicial ruling, which attracted national interest, was that of the Supreme Court regarding the transition from the old Naira notes to the new. The Supreme Court's directive extended the coexistence of old and new notes, alleviating concerns of currency scarcity and ensuring a smoother transition period. In December 2023, the Supreme Court also upheld the appeal filed by the federal government, challenging the Court of Appeal's decision which ordered the release of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. In the unanimous decision, the Supreme Court held that Kanu's forcible repatriation from Kenya in June 2021 by the Nigerian government did not rob the trial court of jurisdiction to entertain the IPOB leader's trial. President Tinubu's administration has, however, been criticized for the way it handled the arrest, detention and investigation of the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, and the former chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Abdulrasheed Bawa.
What DSS are doing, guys?
There was also the embarrassing issue of unnecessary clashes among security agencies, particularly between the EFCC and the DSS and the correctional officers and the police, which kept occurring despite the directive by the president that they should all collaborate to tackle the degenerating security situation in the country.
What is the problem? I don't understand. So they will not allow you to do it.
However, despite the efforts of the EFCC, ICPC and other agencies with the power to prosecute corruption cases, no high-profile corruption case was concluded in the year 2023. In 2024, the expectation is that the judiciary will put the controversies that marred its performance in 2023 behind it and seek to regain public trust and confidence.
Moving on now, the legal community and indeed the nation was jolted on Wednesday, December 27th by the news of the death of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. A statement by the Ondo State government confirmed that he died of complications arising from protracted prostate cancer while receiving medical treatment in Germany. Now, reactions have not stopped trailing that news, and we have some from his main constituency, the legal community, up next.
Former Governor Rotimi Akeredolu will be sorely missed by the legal community. He once served in various capacities, and especially as president of the Nigerian Bar Association. A tribute by current president, senior advocate of Nigeria, Yakubu Mekiao, on behalf of the association, described Akeredolu, who served as the 24th president from 2008 to 2010, as one of the most influential and courageous presidents ever to lead the association. The NBA also says with the passing of Governor Akeredolu, the legal community has lost a true barman who firmly believed in the ability of the legal profession to make a difference in the society, citing this belief as the reason for his entry into politics, which resulted in his being elected twice as the governor of Ondo State. The NBA says Aketi, as he is fondly called, will mostly be remembered for his forthrightness and down-to-earth perspectives, especially on matters of national importance, for his several contributions to the growth and development of Ondo State and the entire region. The statement also recalled that as governor, Akeredolu was at the forefront of the establishment of the regional security network Amotekun to address security concerns in the western region, a network which has so far been effective in stemming the tide of terrorism, armed robbery, kidnapping, banditry and other crimes within the region, and which currently stands as a model for other regions to emulate. A former president of the NBA, Olumide Akpata, in his tribute, says with the passing of Governor Akeredolu, the nation has lost a giant of the legal profession, an unwavering beacon of justice, and a patriotic statesman. Akpata described Aketi as a brilliant and courageous lawyer who impacted the legal landscape in Nigeria and whose tenure as president of the bar left an indelible mark on the NBA with his bold reforms and advocacy. Senior advocate of Nigeria, Tayo Oyetibo, in his tribute, described Akeredolu as a strong-willed man who never balked at taking tough decisions in the interest of his people. He said, Akeredolu was a strong-willed man who spoke what he meant and meant what he said in every respect. At a very critical period when tough decisions needed to be taken in the interest of peace and security of Ondo State, he was not found in the company of the timid and timorous souls. Rather, he stood firmly for the promotion of internal security of the state. For senior advocate of Nigeria, Jibrin Okutekpa, Aketi was a senior advocate of courage and repute whose slogan as president of the NBA was prosecuting our convictions with courage. He also described the late Aketi as a very strict legal practitioner who respected the ethics of the legal profession. Another senior advocate of Nigeria, Rotimi Jacobs, says the nation has lost a fearless, courageous, intelligent and great leader of the bar. Even as governor of Ondo State, he was humble, kind and humane. For senior advocate of Nigeria, Muiz Banire, Aketi was a man of courage and challenging corrupt judges in open court never daunted him. He would speak his mind with the clarity of an unmistakable oracle without minding the consequence, and he triumphed in most of his battles. In his own reaction titled, Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, Exit of a Kind Man, senior advocate of Nigeria Wahab Shitu described Aketi's passing as shocking and a huge loss, not only to the nation and the good people of Ondo State in general, but the legal community. Recalling some of his personal encounters with Akeredolu, Shitu noted that office did not change Akeredolu as he remained humble and simple. Shitu said, the bar is proud of the accomplishments of Aketi, both in his stellar services to the bar and his tour of duty as executive governor of Ondo State. If anyone is in doubt of the accomplishments of the late eminent Silk, please undertake a visit to Ondo State and you will marvel at the radical transformation of Ondo State under His Excellency's watch. Born on 21st July 1956 in Owo, Ondo State, Aketi started his primary school education at Government School Owo before proceeding to the famous Aquinas College, Akure, in 1968. He later proceeded to the prestigious Loyola College, Ibadan, in 1969 to complete his secondary education. He also attended Comprehensive High School, Ayetoro, for his higher secondary school certificate. He was admitted into the famous University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, in 1974 and obtained his LLB degree in 1977. He proceeded to the Nigerian Law School for his BL in 1978. Akeredolu was appointed Attorney General of Ondo State from 1997 to 1999. In 1998, he became a senior advocate of Nigeria. 10 years later, in 2008, he became president of the Nigeria Bar Association. In 2012, the Nigerian Bar Association named its new secretariat in Abuja after him. Akeredolu became governor of Ondo State in 2016 and was re-elected for a second term in 2020.
Now we move on to Katsina State, where the government has inaugurated a small claims court to enhance the process of settling commercial disputes and promoting an investor-friendly environment. We have some of the highlights from that inauguration up next.
The Katsina State government is making efforts to promote the ease of doing business in the state. Members of the state business community as well as the judiciary are attending this ceremony. The government is inaugurating this small claims court to ensure fast, efficient and transparent resolution of commercial disputes.
Today, what we are seeing, the integration of this courts into a legal framework is not merely a matter of convenience. As somebody has said earlier, it is a transformative step towards creating an inclusive and investor-friendly environment. Additionally, small claim courts enhance access to justice for all stakeholders, particularly individuals and small businesses. By streamlining the legal process and lowering costs, these courts empower citizens to seek legal redress and resolve disputes more efficiently. This increases access to justice, build trust and confidence in the legal system, attracting both domestic and foreign investors who can feel secure that their legal disputes will be addressed fairly and promptly. Small claim courts will have a positive impact on business environment through reducing time and money spent on legal disputes. Companies can now focus on their core operations, innovations, and growth. The streamlined process will attract more business, nurturing entrepreneurship and job creation. Small and medium-sized enterprise, in particular, will benefit greatly from the expediency and affordability of small claim courts, allowing them to allocate resources towards expansion and improving their productivity and services.
Today marks another milestone in our quest for quicker justice dispensation. The establishment of the small claim courts is another remarkable achievement for access to justice and quick dispensation of justice, particularly on businesses that are small and medium in nature. We all know that our legal system is cumbersome when it comes to access to justice and disposition of cases. It is so because the law and the procedure had been made a very long time ago. The world is growing very fast. It has become digital world, and the judiciary cannot be left behind. The justice sector must key into this.
Katsina State is currently ranked 5th in the ratings for ease of doing business among subnationals, and the government believes the court will further boost investments in the state.
All these provisions, among others, were made with a view to fast-track proceeding before this small court, and in fact, realize the objective of the ease of doing business. Further, while it is tried that judgment of court takes immediate effect, and accordingly, judgment must forthwith be paid by judgment debtor. In the event of failure, judgment creditor can resort to enforcement by guardianship proceeding.
We are extremely happy. We are extremely excited by this development as a judicial reform, because small claims court will expedite actions in terms of local settlement between our members, and people will be more honest because the court has the right to execute, at the same time enforce judgment.
The special court is domiciled within the State High Court as the state government promises to ensure expedited implementation of court judgments.
And just before we go, a quick recap of some of the top legal stories in the news.
We begin with the report that the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has extended the interim order stopping the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and the People's Democratic Party (PDP) from taking any action against the 26 Rivers State House of Assembly members who defected to the All Progressives Congress (APC). Justice Donatus Okorowo extended the order following an application by counsel to the lawmakers Steve Adehi. The court held that based on Order 26, Rule 10 of the Federal High Court, the judge had the discretionary power to grant the application of the lawmakers in the interest of justice. Justice Okorowo then adjourned the matter to January the 24th for hearing. On December the 15th, the court had granted the ex parte motion filed by the 26 lawmakers who dumped the PDP for the APC. The court restrained INEC from conducting fresh elections to fill their seats. It also restrained INEC, PDP, and the House of Assembly from declaring their seats vacant and withdrawing their respective certificates of return pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice. Staying in Abuja, a former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, has been released from Kuje prison after his lawyers were able to perfect his bail conditions. Justice Hamza Muazu of the Federal Capital Territory High Court had granted him bail in the sum of 300 million naira with 2 sureties in like sum. The court had also mandated him to deposit all his travel documents with the registrar of the court and to remain within the Abuja Municipal Area Council. The former CBN governor was arraigned on a 6-count charge bordering on procurement fraud and using his position to confer a corrupt advantage on a staff of the CBN by awarding a contract for the procurement of 43 vehicles worth 1.2 billion naira between 2018 and 2020 on November 18. His trial has already begun before Justice Muazu. In Ibadan, the Zonal Command of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has secured the conviction and sentencing of 37 internet fraudsters before some justices of the state and neighboring Ogun State. The convicts were arraigned between the months of November and December 2023 on a 1-count separate charge each. In the counts, they were individually charged with intent to defraud unsuspecting persons online, an offense contrary to certain sections of the Criminal Code of the states. At their arraignment, they also pleaded guilty to the charges. After convicting them, the courts also ordered them to restitute their various victims and forfeit all items recovered from them, including 7 exotic cars to the federal government of Nigeria. And we round off with the report that the Akwa Ibom State High Court Judge Justice Joy Unwana and her driver Idorenyi Ekanem, who were both abducted by gunmen, have regained their freedom after spending 5 days in the kidnappers' den. Justice Unwana and her driver were kidnapped on Monday, December the 18th, 2023, while returning to Uyo, the state capital, after a court session in Oron local government area of the state.
And this is where we adjourn proceedings for today. Do remember to check out the Channels TV website for a replay of this episode of the program, as well as past episodes. Please also send in any feedback via any of our social media handles. I'm Shola Shoyeli. Thank you for watching and see you in the new year.